Welcome to Dateline SAU, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Charles Hart.
And I'm Katie Link. Local elections for the positions of Davenport's mayor, alderman, and school board members are on November 2nd. This week, the St. Ambrose Student Government Association helped the campus community know what they'll need to have with them to cast a ballot on Election Day.
It's like a really easy way to participate in the democracy and make change, and it's really easy to complain about what happens in the community or abroad, but you need to have an active participation and vote. It's so easy and people don't do it enough.
Voter registration is closed, but the state of Iowa does allow for same-day voter registration at your polling site. Just be sure to bring a valid ID and a copy of your housing contract if you live on campus. You can get your contract from the Resident Life office or online through the My Housing site through the SAU portal page.
SAU's Model UN celebrated United Nations Day this week in the Rogalski Center. The club offers students, faculty, staff, and administrators a unique opportunity to address the global challenges and changes in today's world. The celebration included food and a game of Jeopardy! Participants say these gatherings bring the club closer together.
One of the great things about Model UN is that the group of people that we're with, it's really a family, you know? We only have about 20 people in our club, and being able to do these kind of smaller events really helps with the camaraderie of the club.
This Model UN team is representing the United States of America at the American Model United Nations Conference next month in Chicago.
The environmentalist student group Green Life hosted a clothing swap last week to raise awareness of the dangers of fast fashion. Fast fashion is when clothing is in and out of style quickly, cheaply produced, shortly worn, and thrown away fast. The swap highlighted all of the different sources available for clothes that aren't your typical big chain retail shops, like thrift stores or even trading with your friends.
It really impacts a lot of different things, like it's a feminist issue, it's just like a poverty issue, it's a bunch of different stuff that you can look into.
Green Life plans to bring more sustainable events like this one to campus in the near future.
There is a new art exhibit in the Kadich Gallery. Artist Susan Chrysler White says her intention is to suggest additional layers of meaning and new realities with her pieces. She describes the paintings as an abstract reflection of her own interior experiences and emotional states.
It has this feeling that it kind of wants to suck you into each individual piece, and then with the different pieces, with like the different ceramics and stuff, where things are like coming out, it's like a bit of an exchange where it's like it's bringing something out into the world, but also trying to like bring you into its world, you know? So it's kind of, it's just like a very enriching experience overall.
The exhibit can be viewed until December 17th.
This past weekend, the St. Ambrose Music Department held its first concert of the academic year. Due to COVID, it has been several months since vocal ensembles performed a regular concert in front of a live audience. Vocal music director Dr. Nathan Wint says he is working to slowly make choir feel normal again.
While nothing in this concert was fluff, trying to err a little bit on the side of slightly easier so our singers, as we start to build up our routines, kind of like an athlete, if you don't work out for a year, you're going to be a little bit fatigued. So trying to build that 5 or 6 song concert experience back, choosing music that's a little bit easier to make that happen so students have the mental and physical stamina to do it. And then I think by the spring, if things continue to go pretty well, we could be looking at really almost entirely normal. That's what I'm hopeful for.
The Chamber Singers and University Chorale were the two groups to perform that night. Each group sang 5 songs. They are already in preparation for their next 2 concerts, which will take place in December.
Construction of the new elevator in the Galvin Fine Arts Center is now complete. Dateline SAU's David Meyer has reactions from people who frequent the building.
The elevator has given the building a whole new feel. However, its construction has caused some frustrations.
Obviously, it was a pain when they were doing construction because it was difficult for us to get to offices down here.
For people who are working up in radio, it's really great because there's not dust everywhere and we can actually access the back half of the radio station.
The new elevator can take you from the basement
going up
to the top floor at any time.
It'll be especially nice for students who have trouble walking, those sorts of things. It'll definitely be nice.
David Meyer, Dateline SAU.
The addition of the elevator was part of several upgrades made within the Galvin Fine Arts Center.
The new wrestling facility at St. Vincent's is complete and ready for use. Despite some minor obstacles, the building was finished ahead of schedule and the Bees are happy with the result.
To move their construction stuff out of here, so we didn't have full use of the wrestling facility. Now we're getting full use of it. But yeah, I love it, man. It's sweet. But yeah, we're settling in. I mean, getting my office set up. Our mats still aren't in yet, so we are borrowing some mats from Alleman High School. But you know, you got locker rooms, showers, offices. We'll turn one of the offices into a study area for a little while, just so that this can kind of be a home away from home. So yeah, I love it.
Coming up in sports, the wrestling team gets its first taste of action in its inaugural season.
And the Fighting Bee football team looks to make it 2 in a row as they host a team that is leading the conference standings.
We'll have these stories and more coming up after the break.
On Dateline SAU.
Being a music major at St. Ambrose University has allowed me the opportunity to get to know all of the professors on a personal level, and they all care about my own growth as a musician. It's really nice to be learning in an environment where I can maybe sometimes have conversations with the professors outside of class who obviously want to help me learn, and that is their main goal. And it's easy to get that interaction from them. The opportunities that you get to perform in and outside of class, there are many of them, and all of them are great ways to meet the right people that might help you get started in your piano career, life as a musician. And that's definitely something that's helped me, something that I've loved about being here. I would recommend it for other people for the same reasons.
I believe that a university that's given so much to me and my family, I need to give back. And my youngest daughter graduated from here, my wife graduated from here, and now we're in an opportunity we can give back to the university and thank them for everything they've done for us.
We're more than a radio station. We're your neighbors, investing time in our community. We're mentors, guiding the next generation of broadcasters. We're supporters of veterans, partners with social service agencies, and investigators of history. We're dedicated sports fans. We're committed to the stories that make the Quad Cities unique. We are KALA Radio, 88.5 FM, 106.1 FM. Turn it on, turn it up.
The SAU men's wrestling squad officially kicked off its 2021 and 2022 campaign this past Wednesday. St. Ambrose got its first look at the newest addition to the athletics department when the men took to the mats for their inaugural wrestle-off. It was in preparation for their first ever meet, a dual match at home versus Augustana on November 1st. 10 matches were held over the course of the evening in front of a large crowd. Coach Bo Bettinson and his athletes will follow up Monday's first competition with the Simpson Open on November 6th. They will then look forward to staying busy with 7 more matches over the month of November. It has been a roller coaster ride for the Fighting Bee football team this year. So far, they have been unable to string together 2 wins in a row. Coming off of last week's big victory at nationally ranked Olivet Nazarene, could the Bees get their second straight win Saturday versus St. Francis of Illinois? Well, things were looking good for the Bees at first when St. Francis rolled the die, going for it on 4th down deep in their own territory. St. Ambrose forced a turnover on downs and gained possession on the Saints' own 30-yard line. From here, Tom Casey lobbed this 30-yard pass to the end zone intended for Sherrod Danage, but it was knocked away by the Saints and the Bees come up empty. In the second quarter, St. Francis quarterback Sam Tumulty tallied one of his 5 rushing touchdowns to bring the score to 21-0. With the game out of reach for the Bees, John Benkendorf refused to go down quietly in the fourth quarter and found Mark Skokna on the screen pass for this 43-yard touchdown. Despite this bright spot in the fourth, it was too little too late for the Bees as they fall to the Saints 35-14. With this loss, St. Ambrose falls to the middle of the pack in the conference as they hope to rebound in their next contest at Roosevelt University this weekend. Morgan Wallen scored 3 goals as the women's soccer team rolled past Governor State on Tuesday. Taylor DeSplinter opened the scoring just 4 minutes into the game, and the Bees never looked back. The team will wrap up the regular season Saturday, hosting Bellevue University for Senior Day. Governor State scored early in the second half, and that was all the Jaguars needed to top the St. Ambrose men's soccer team. The Bees wrap up the season with a 5-10-2 record overall, 2-10-1 in the conference. The men's and women's cross-country teams traveled to Grand Rapids, Michigan to compete in the NAIA Great Lakes Challenge. Several Bee runners earned personal records against some of the best competition in the country. The teams are now preparing for the CCAC Championships next weekend. That's it for sports this week. I'm Cameron Giampaolo.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Dateline SAU.
We'll be back next week with the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our newscasts, late-breaking news, and more.
You can also find news stories and videos on The Hive at sauthebuzz.com.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.